It is time now for the 11warriors.com web report. Dan and James are here, our two beat guys. Let's start basketball. How about that? Dan's going to have to sit and wait. Basketball gets the headlines this week. James, so, I mean, you beat the #1 team in the country. Not only you beat them handily. This is what's interesting to me about this, guys, is because Chris Holtmann has benefited for the majority of this season, James, not having to deal with expectations. And this is a team that, oh, maybe they could make the NCAA tournament, to now expectations have become a reality and now should make the NCAA tournament as part of the conversation. Did you see this coming, this type of growth in year one under Holtmann?
No, I thought they would make strides, and I thought they would be as good, maybe a little bit better as they were last year. I didn't think they'd take a step back. But to say we saw this 4-0 in the Big Ten with 2 wins on the road and a win against the #1 team in the country, no. It's, I mean, to say that anyone saw this coming. I mean, even Holtmann said in his post-game press conference after they beat Michigan State, he's surprised at how far ahead of schedule they are. And he gave a lot of credit to Bates-Diop and Jay Shaw Tate, the veterans on this team that are kind of paving the way for the success that they're having. It's very surprising.
Let's talk about Bates-Diop, James, for a second, because this is a 4-year guy. One of the negative hallmarks at the end of the Matta era is that guys didn't get better here, that they basically came in as freshmen. They were the same guys when they left as seniors. There wasn't demonstrative improvement. This kid, and it's also worth noting that if he doesn't get hurt last year, maybe Thad Matta is still the head coach at Ohio State, so that's worth noting as well. But this is a kid who in year 4 has a realistic shot. Right now he's the front runner to win Big Ten Player of the Year. We have not seen this type of growth in an Ohio State player since maybe Evan Turner. It's been a long time.
It has, and he has all these different areas of his game that he's really improved on. His mid-range game, as Tom Izzo said in the postgame, might be as good as anybody in the Big Ten, and it's a very kind of a lost art, that mid-range jumper game. And his length on defense really makes him a problem. He can guard almost any spot on the floor, maybe outside of point guard in the Big Ten. So there's a lot of things he does well, and like you said, his gradual improvement year to year has really been something to see.
I'll give you a basketball one, Dan. Maryland this week. It's one thing to beat Michigan State. It's one thing to beat the #1 team with a lot of emotion. It's another thing to then turn that into something significant. You got Maryland, then you go to Rutgers, then you go to Northwestern, and then to Minnesota. We'll find out if this team's for real over the next week or so.
Yeah, I think the question is, how do you play now that you've proven yourself, now that people are starting to believe in you? Because all year you've been able to play the underdog card, but nobody believes in us card. Now people have noticed you. You've just beat the #1 team. Do you let that get to your head? We saw football season. We saw Ohio State goes out, beats Penn State. Next week lays an absolute egg at Iowa. This is what you can't do if you're this basketball team. You got to keep working the same way you've been working. Keep the same approach like you've got something to prove. And if you could do that and keep rolling things going, who knows what can happen.
Dan, let's talk a little football with you now. Mike Weber's coming back. So says a tweet. Look, I didn't think he would. I thought he would see a crowded backfield. We know who's coming in the freshman class. We know that #2 is still going to be the starter going next season. From a draft stock perspective, if I were Weber, I would worry about, boy, I still can't beat out this guy. I'm still the second-string tailback at Ohio State. At the same time, I do see his side. You know, you get healthy, you get another opportunity to go out on a high note. What's your feeling on the Weber return at Ohio State?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't know how much there is to gain from a draft stock perspective for him at this point, because he's going to be behind J.K. Dobbins on the depth chart. That's just the way it is. Dobbins has proven himself to be a real top-tier talent, and Weber's going to be behind that, but he did have a hamstring injury for much of his past year. He did well when he got touches. If he can stay healthy all year, could have a better year. This also gives him an opportunity to come back, get his degree. Maybe, you know, the team can do something special next year and he gets to be a part of that. So I could see why he'd decide to come back, but, you know, and I could also have seen him leaving, and I was a little bit surprised that he decided to come back, but certainly I think you want to stay healthy and you want to really take advantage of those touches that you get.
James, if this holds and you go Dobbins, Weber, Haskins will be the quarterback. You got 100 recruits coming in. DeMario McCall's still running around there somewhere. You got to get him some touches, I would think. This would require, to me, a real hard look at how you go about your business offensively and to divvy up these. Now, if it's Dwayne Haskins, that's not a problem because he's not going to run it 15 times games like J.T. Barrett did. Do you think that you will see a retooling of the Ohio State offense this offseason? You
know, Urban said before the start of last season that he made not Tim Beck, but Ryan Day and Kevin Wilson watch Ohio State stretch from the 2014 National Championship game, those last 3 games. That's what he wanted his offense to look like. That didn't happen this year.
Boy.
We saw a lot of QB runs still, But I think with Dwayne Haskins, assuming he wins the starting job, I think that's what you're going to try to see them do is downhill running game, play action pass, extend the field, get those safeties playing 10, 15 yards off the ball. And I think that's really what you're going to see from the Ohio State offense next year is that play action pass, push the ball deep down the field, and that'll open up run lanes for whoever's at running back.
If Urban Meyer wants his offense to look like it did when they won those 3 games and won the national championship, all he has to do is make it so. Because he has the personnel to do it. He's got the quarterback to do it in Haskins. They can absolutely emulate what they did in that run to the national title. So it's just really up to him in making it so and not relying on those quarterback runs. This will be a fascinating offseason in spring for Ohio State spring football. That was the 11warriors.com web report. Check out the 11 Warriors report on Spectrum Sports, airing every Tuesday.